Nvidia killer and potentially a Bitcoin killer. So I want to bring in EMJ Capital founders, their president, Eric Jackson. Eric, that's a bold statement. So let's first start, though. Let's back up a little bit. Let's start with what is quantum? What role is quantum going to play in our world?
Well, Charles, I mean, as excited as people have gotten in the last year and a half about AI, I mean, quantum is just the next level of that interest. It's like more powerful computations, more powerful computers, faster solutions that you can imagine, more lifelike, movies or music created at the snap of a fingers. That's the next level for AI.
So Perplexity suggests that there isn't an immediate threat to Bitcoin for several reasons, and we're going to put them on the screen behind me in a moment. But not immediate, but they say that there will be a threat. They say right now you've got specific applications, scale, error rates, and time frame, but they also say make no mistake that they're on the path to actually being a threat to Bitcoin. How would this be a threat? Would it be a threat to the encryption? What happens here?
Exactly, it's the encryption. We used to think that, a few days ago, we thought Satoshi had kind of locked all the crypto wallets of the world, made them so secure, nobody could ever crack into these things. And that's part of what powered Bitcoin to 100K. But the power of quantum computing is that, yes, it is actually theoretically possible that in the future, these quantum computers will be able to hack into all the crypto wallets. Not just that, access, if that wasn't bad enough, I mean, think about all the governments with sensitive data, all the companies, all the banks with sensitive data. The state of the art right now is RSA technology. These mathematical formulas could be, solved, instantaneously, and
right.
All of that data access. So it's a big threat. And the fact that Google just dropped this chip out of the blue yesterday, it sort of signals that this world is moving much faster than we expected, and therefore we're going to have security in place to protect all this data and all these billions of Bitcoin around the world.
All right, two names that you like now, the Rigetti and D-Wave, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these are both names that have had great runs. They're up like 300% in the last month. They are both SPACs from a few years ago. They're both trying to build chips to kind of be as good or better than Google with these quantum chips. So they are getting a boost from this Google news because there's a lot more investment that's going to pour into this space. So you need to pay attention to those names. I also like a smaller company called BTQ that's in the business of being kind of like the post-quantum CrowdStrike. So their job is to defend all these crypto wallets and all the sensitive data. They're a very, very small company.
Right.
Last time I was on, Charles, you asked me to talk about 20 bagger. I mean, BTQ is potentially a 1,000 bagger.
So I got the chart here,
over the next 10 years.
Eric, I got the chart on the screen. BTQQF, again, it's on the pinks. It's traded in a range here more recently, but you can kind of see, it's, the rate of change is starting to turn up a little bit here. It looks like it's on a cusp of a breakout. I guess if we would probably have to add a sort of a disclaimer, right? Being on the pinks, being relatively small, more risk. But to your point, this could be potentially a 20 bagger. Yesterday there was.
I mean, the crazy.
Go ahead.
The crazy thing is all these quantum companies, they all have very small revenues, even Rigetti, even D-Wave and so forth. So they're all in the same boat. And some people might say, oh, it's a bubble. Yeah, but I think the market is sniffing out that this is where the puck is going, these quantum names. And you got to be there now at the beginning if you want to participate in the huge bull run ahead.
Yeah, yesterday I know Iceberg Research put a short on quantum computing. It's a different company, and you probably get more folks attacking this. But I agree with you in the sense that what we saw from Google today, almost out of left field, just shows us how exponentially this stuff is growing. Even ChatGPT caught the world flat-footed. So quantum computing, Eric, I think to your point, is here to stay. We're going to have to bring you on from time to time as the shorts attack these names, but I think folks need to listen and at least do something.
Far behind the 8 ball as the market thought a few months ago, and the fact that they're probably still somewhat in a pole position, and on valuation you can make a case still despite today's move. And I think that 191 3/4 level that we traded up July is in the crosshair. So good for Google. Obviously there have been some missteps, not necessarily from them, but the market around them. But I think people are realizing if they want value, Google's the place to be.
What is that hockey metaphor about the puck?
Skating to the puck?
Exactly.
You're a
is
huge
that what it's
hockey fan.
doing here?
Well, I think our audience at home would like to know what you think's going on in the world's most famous arena with the Rangers, because it's been a tough ride. But Google's more important tonight, and Yes, they are. I actually think it is warranted, not because, as we've all just said, it's not that Willow, whoever's naming these chips, is going to be a real-term dynamic to take on Nvidia or AMD, but it's a reminder where Google sits in the middle of some really exciting tech verticals. And then as the Baird note that we prepped some of this with, it says, you know, it's the largest advertising company in the world. It is certainly front and center as it relates to search and digital ad, and everything in their core business is A-OK, and it's getting bigger and bigger. But then you are in cloud compute. You are in areas where I think Google, you're reminded at 21 times forward in a world where all of their peers are now trading at multiples that are probably 20 to 40% higher than they were 5 years ago. Google's at the same multiple, and it probably should be, and it could be higher than some of the others.
Do you think that we're giving them a tremendous berth? If this were talking about AI, we'd be saying it was pixie dust, right? I mean, think about it. Do you think you're giving them more of a wider berth?
Pixie dust?
No, I think it's great, but I think guys started off the right way. Where are they going to use it, or your entrance to the show? Where are they going to use it? How are they going to monetize it? I think if this was AI, we would have been saying a host of headwinds towards this right now. So maybe it's not pixie dust. But where are they going to monetize? And you know who's been at the head of this and who was at the head of AI? IBM was at the head of both. It's outperformed Google on a year-to-date basis. It's quietly doing everything that everyone else is doing, not in a glitzy fashion. So I think that this run-up, was it too much? That's what you started the show with. I think it was a little too much, and I think you're going to start to see a fade.
Or maybe this underscores the value of Google, Julie, for the things that are not in the valuation. And this certainly was not in the valuation. I mean, this is early. Talk about early stages. Google has a six-step milestone roadmap for quantum computing. This is milestone number 2. So it is very early in the pathway, but it just shows that there is something in its back pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is really much more of a reflection on valuation than being able to handicap when this technology is actually going to be economic. It's so much more about, hey, I have missed out on some of these rallies and these other AI names. I need confidence that Google isn't going to get completely left in the dust, particularly since a lot of AI chatbots have an existential threat to their search business. And so it's really critical for investors, especially longer-term investors, to get confidence that they are going to be still in the mix and that they are working on delivering something that can support and eventually overcome their key search business, which is really where everything hinges.
Is this your favorite Mag 7 stock, Julie?
I think so. I think people forget that so much of, the strength that we see in OpenAI really originated at Google. And that talent is really pretty critical. So I think it's pretty underappreciated. I think its core business is among the strongest that it's trying to defend.